Cinematography, the art and technology of motion picture photography. It involves such techniques as the general composition of a scene, the lighting of the set or location, the choice of cameras, lenses, filters and film stock, the camera angle and movements, and the integration of any special effects. Now, you may have seen this tweet pop up on your timeline over the past couple of weeks, and sure, I see where it's coming from. Marvel use VFX and CGI in pretty much every scene. I mean, is this really necessary? But that's not to say that the cinematographer still isn't telling a story through their work. I just want to say that this is my opinion, and I'd love to converse in the comments down below if you have an opposing one. To start, I want to point out that there is a difference between VFX and CGI, as they seem to be quite intertwined but they serve different purposes. For example, VFX, which stands for visual effects, enhances an image with a combination of live action shots and other digital images, like when we see Purple Ana de Armas in Blade Runner 2049, and fun fact about that film, there are 1,190 shots that include some form of visual effects. Now, CGI, which stands for computer generated imagery, is exactly that. You use a computer to create an image, but as I'll get to later, you still have to do everything else. Anyway, the answer is yes, and it's simply down to the fact that the cinematographer is still telling a story through images, and that's my definition of cinematography. To me, you can make an image look good, have cool camera movements, give it a distinct colour grade, but if it doesn't tell a story, then what good is all of that? And whilst yes, Marvel does all of those things, they still manage to evoke some sort of emotion through their imagery. Now, I can't bring myself to say that it's the equivalent of something like Phantom Thread or Her, due to the amount of studio interference and lack of creative control, but it's just such a disservice to the cinematographers like Rachel Morrison and Ben Davis to say that these films don't have cinematography, because even when they are in the studio and working from a computer, they still have to decide on the lens length, f-stop, composition, when to move the camera, all of the things that go into telling a story and that you do on a live action set, they still have to do here. Sure, they are now working with the VFX department and you have to give credit to them, but it's still cinematography. I think the best way to describe CGI in the context of is it cinematography is that it enhances the work of the cinematographer. I mean, you can completely change an image with CGI and alter everything that the DP did on set, but you can also just make adjustments, remove a building, add some rain. It's pretty much endless what you can do to bring the story to life, more than what was done during production. In my opinion, you could even fully create an establishing shot in CGI and it would still be the work of the cinematographer if they were in the room, because it's usually their idea in the first place. Now, I want to quickly touch on animation because these are films that, unless they are in stop motion, are made completely on a computer. And do these not have cinematography? Because they have cinematographers in the credits, visual consultants to help with the lighting, which as a matter of fact is something that Roger Deakins has done more than a few times, and these are done in the same sort of way that CGI is done. You have storyboards to work off, a specified look that the DP and director had figured out earlier on in pre-production. You have to decide on a lens type, camera angle, the movement of a camera, all of the things that you have to do when creating a CGI image. I'm just going to have to go on a little rant here because this subject has really stuck in my head and I can't get my mind around it. Because when you say that CGI and VFX isn't cinematography, you're just ruling out films like Gravity, Blade Runner 2049, films that are full of post-production effects, whether that's VFX or CGI, just because you want to be a bit pretentious about what counts as cinematography. I understand that Marvel films are restricted to what the producers want and that sometimes CGI is just the more cost-effective way, but you can't just say that it doesn't count as cinematography because it was shot on a blue screen, which if we're going in that direction, what Greg Fraser did on The Batman isn't cinematography either, because he used stagecraft and put rain in post, and that just makes you sound mad. Look, I watch tons of films, and in my top 100, Marvel is nowhere to be seen. However, in my top 5, a film with no cinematography is, well, according to the people on Twitter. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, know what to do if you did. If you have a recommendation for an analysis, leave it down below. Thank you so much for watching, and maybe I'll see you next time. Bye.